Spanish has many fundamentals that are simple to understand after learning the basics. Basic words and phrases in Spanish include question words, personal pronouns, days, months, time words, common conjunctions, prepositions, and adverbs, greetings and farewells, and numbers. Question words in Spanish are known as interrogative words that cannot be answered by simply saying yes or no, or in Spanish, sí, no. These questions specify the context of a sentence and indicate how the receiver of a question should respond. What is ¿qué? Who can refer to singular and plural objects. ¿Quién? ¿Quiénes? The same is true about which. ¿Cuál? ¿Cuáles? When is ¿cuándo? Where is ¿dónde? Where to is ¿a dónde? Why is ¿por qué? How is ¿cómo? How much or how many is affected by gender and number. ¿Cuánto? ¿Cuánta? ¿Cuántos? ¿Cuántas? Notice how all words have accents, and they're needed when asking a question, and upside-down question marks are necessary for Spanish punctuation. Still, the accents are vital in spelling, because if the words lose the accents, they stop being interrogative and become relative words or conjunctions. Basically, when you see the words without accents, they connect ideas instead of asking questions. Specifically, ¿qué?, ¿quién?, ¿dónde?, ¿cómo?, and ¿cuándo? With the accent, the words are questions. Without the accent, the words are connectors or conjunctions. So the spelling distinguishes asking versus connecting, as you can see from the sentences on the screen. Then, Spanish has personal subject pronouns that are mainly used for emphasis, because the language often drops them due to verb conjugations. Such pronouns are replacements for proper names of people. Yo is I. Tú is you, informal. Él is he. Ella is she. Usted is you, formal. Nosotros or nosotras is we. Vosotros or vosotras is you all. Ellos or ellas is they. Ustedes is you, formal, plural. As you can see, Spanish has nuances with the pronouns, and we can see the differences from English. 1. There is no Spanish pronoun for it. 2. The pronouns tú and él have accents, and they're needed to distinguish them from other homophones, like tú, meaning your, and él, meaning the, masculine. With the accent, tú and él are pronouns. 3. The pronoun yo doesn't need to be capitalized like in English, unless it's the first word in a sentence. 4. Some pronouns are affected by gender, like nosotros, vosotros, and ellos. The ending os is masculine, and the ending as is feminine, which are used with the corresponding gender of the subjects in context. 5. In terms of dialect, usted and ustedes are the formal you, showing respect when speaking with formal people in the Spanish-speaking world, but the pronoun vosotros is used as a plural you all in Spain, with peers, friends, and family. Aside from pronouns in the personal form, Spanish can change them in the form of object pronouns, possessive pronouns, or other forms. These pronouns indicate the grammatical person, gender, and number of the noun they replace. For now, it's better to show them but not describe them, because they need separate videos. Then, Spanish has the days of the week. Lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo. English capitalizes the words, but Spanish doesn't, unless it's the first word in a sentence. Also, when indicating something on a specific day, Spanish will use el for on, like el lunes, on Monday. Then, Spanish has the months. Enero, febrero, marzo, abril, mayo, junio, julio, agosto, septiembre, octubre, noviembre, diciembre. Just like the days, months are not capitalized unless they're the first word in a sentence. Then, Spanish has common time words like hoy, ayer, mañana, ahora, antes, después, siempre, nunca, a veces, temprano, tarde, segundo, minuto, hora, semana, mes, año. As a note, the word mañana can also mean morning, and it's not possible to say minuta. I know. Then, Spanish has common conjunctions, prepositions, and adverbs. Although it's a mixed category, such words can be found very frequently in daily Spanish conversation, especially in complex sentences. Conjunctions are words that connect ideas, and common ones are y, o, pero, porque, aunque, mientras, sí. The word porque, because, is stressed on the first syllable, but with an accent it would separate into por qué, why. Porque is because. Por qué is why. Additionally, the word sí means if, without an accent. With an accent, the word is sí, yes. The two are homophones, and the accent distinguishes them. Moreover, prepositions show relationships between words, and common ones are a, de, en, con, sin, encima de, debajo de, al lado de, por, para. Some of the prepositions often need de in context, and the words por and para are quite complex, requiring a separate video for their use. Adverbs modify verbs, and common ones are muy, bien, mal, aquí, ahí, ya, todavía, sin embargo. At the same time, you can find Spanish adverbs ending in mente, and those are adverbs of manner, showing how something is done. For instance, adverbs like rápidamente, lentamente, claramente, fácilmente modify verbs, but they often sound more formal than other adverbs. Rápidamente and rápido can both mean quickly, but rápidamente is more formal. Such adverbs are typically formed from adjectives, and they take the feminine form of the adjective and receive mente in the end, like rápido, rápida, lento, lenta, claro, clara. If an adjective already ends in e or a consonant, it doesn't change, like feliz, felizmente, fuerte, fuertemente. Think of the ending mente as ly in English, most of the time. Then, Spanish has a lot of useful greetings and farewells. These phrases can be very useful when speaking the language and meeting new people. Common greetings are bienvenido, hola, buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo está? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué tal? Some greetings often take idiomatic translations to meet new people. ¿Cómo estás means how are you informally, but when speaking to formal people, we have to use ¿Cómo está? Even so, ¿Qué pasa? Directly translates to what happens or what's happening, but as a greeting, it means what's up. Common farewells are adiós, chao, hasta luego, hasta mañana, hasta la vista, hasta pronto, nos vemos. Just like greetings, Spanish farewells also often have idiomatic translations, because they can mean other things if translated directly, like the word hasta, which means until. Until later. Until tomorrow. Until the view. Until soon. While the meaning somewhat works, it's better to use a saying like see you. The same is true about nos vemos, which is a reflexive phrase, meaning we'll see each other. But again, it's better to use see you. Other expressions that fall into similar categories are gracias, de nada, por favor, lo siento, perdón. Finally, Spanish has cardinal numbers that are spelled and pronounced like this: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Numbers past 10 are 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. The numbers 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 all end in se, but later the tense numbers become dieci, receiving the ones numbers as is. The spelling will simply join the two, but when it comes to 20, those numbers will change e to i, and the ones numbers will join. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Numbers past 29 are 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. When expressing a number, Spanish uses a conjunction, like 67, 67. When saying a number in the hundreds, 100 becomes ciento, like 101. 101. At last, Spanish has ordinal numbers that function like adjectives, so they agree in gender and number with the noun they describe. Primero, primera. Segundo, segunda. Tercero, tercera. Cuarto, cuarta. Quinto, quinta. Sexto, sexta. Séptimo, séptima. Octavo, octava. Noveno, novena. Décimo, décima. Listing numbers past that is unnecessary because practically Spanish ordinal numbers are used for 1 to 10, and after that the language uses cardinal numbers instead, like el capítulo 11. As a note, the numbers primero and tercero are shortened before a masculine singular noun, like el primer día, el tercer piso. Overall, these are basic words, phrases, and fundamentals in Spanish.